What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're taking a peek over here at the Bitcoin price chart. We'll look over here at the altcoin market. And of course, the XRP price chart, which has been pulling back ever since the summary judgment ruling stating that XRP is not a security. We've been following the structure over here on Bitcoin, which I guess we could now say for a couple of months ever since it broke out there in late June. Now here we are in August, is still just in consolidation after that big break. We've talked a lot about that backtesting level after a breakout has occurred in each of our previous ABC corrections. That has been the level to go to. I just got back from being on vacation from August 3rd through 7th. And well, price really didn't do a whole lot when I was gone, which is always kind of nice. As we had discussed in my last video that I put out looking at these correction styles, that we would hopefully be in something somewhere like this. And that what we had witnessed in the middle of last week was really just like what we typically see, where there's kind of a short squeeze that takes place prior to price then rolling over and then heading down. But price has actually been holding itself up really well. So as for Bitcoin, which is the king of the market, not a lot has changed in the last week except further consolidation. As we've seen in each breakout and each time this thing moves up, anybody who's looking for things to react like this and give some signs of relief, that hasn't been how Bitcoin has been behaving. It's been doing these long consolidations and then finally a big move up. And so that's what we're really just sitting around waiting for and seeing if we've done enough to complete these types of corrections. And right now, I could argue that there probably has been enough that has been done in here. It's definitely more sloppy than the last one. We had very clear 5-wave ending that happened in here. Not as clear here, but I think we're much closer to it than further away. But again, it hasn't been just simple little grind outs. It's been these very quick moves. That's just how it's been all year long. So anyone wanting and waiting for something to slowly start and then things pick up speed, that hasn't how it's been. It's been these consolidations of pain to eventually, boom, wrong foot the market and then go. But on most indicators, we are starting to see the strength return in here as the flips are happening here on the smaller time frames. And if we do zoom out to the daily time frame, we can see that the MACD is right on the verge of getting itself to cross over. So exhibiting signs that this is much further along and much closer to the end of this than it is the beginning. As for the altcoin market, the story was really the same last week as I was going on vacation. Right before I left, we took a little bit of a spill, and then prices have now sat really flat over here on the altcoin market as we watch kind of like some rotational plays continue to happen in this market where there's not a whole lot of fresh money entering into the market, but every day or every other day, there's one or two coins that are taking big rides up. But it's actually just a washing machine that's happening here in the market as we're waiting for liquidity to pour in. I've gone through my emotional log and shared that with you guys of what it was like back in 2019 after the 2018 bear market. And that when we sat here at this level, still trying to break through here as we did back in 2019, the sentiment was just like this. There was still that doubt, that pessimism, that worry. And it was not until we cracked through there that all of that went away and all the euphoria returned to the market. And I still expect that would be the case here. And I think a lot of people are actually getting a little bit of a kind of wake up as to why Bitcoin is so important. It's one of the things I've talked about with XRP as the missing element that hasn't been there for us to go on like this raging bull run, has been that if we go through the last decade of price action for XRP, it's always been tied to Bitcoin exhibiting bullish behavior at the same time. I've always said that's like the least sexy thing that I can say because it doesn't match all the narratives that are out there, but it's just the reality of this market. You can go through the price appreciation of the altcoin market and of XRP and totally see it's correlated with Bitcoin. And there's a lot of people scratching their heads on why are we pulling back for the XRP price chart after getting such epic news of XRP being deemed not a security, all the exchanges in the United States relisting XRP, rather than just being like, hey, you know what? This is actually just a technical level for a pullback to happen in here. Another example, which even John Deaton pointed out this morning and says, hey, if I had told you XRP would get regulatory clarity but not hit $1, many wouldn't have believed it. Likewise, if I told you PayPal would issue a stablecoin on Ethereum, but Ethereum wouldn't increase at all, Many wouldn't believe it. Like it or not, Bitcoin drives this market, in my opinion. And as we can see, Ethereum really remains unchanged over the course of the last 5 days. Even after yesterday with the announcement from PayPal saying today we're unveiling a new stablecoin, PayPal USD, PYUSD. It's designed for payments and is backed by highly liquid and secure assets. Starting today and rolling out in the next few weeks, you'll be able to buy, sell, hold, and transfer PYUSD, which we can see over here on the PayPal website. And as you've caught on by now, it is Ethereum based, as we can see over here on CoinDesk. This hasn't impacted the price of Ethereum. You would think it would, right? What a huge milestone. You've got PayPal entering, building on Ethereum. But what is the market waiting for? Mr. Bitcoin to wake up and do its thing. The good news for XRP is it's definitely gotten back down to this level we've talked about since the day it broke out. We've talked about the anomaly of consolidating so high above the breakout level and whether or not it would have to end up backtesting it. I think the answer is pretty obvious at this point. It is. It's definitely getting to intriguing price levels for me as we are so close to getting there, but it's not just us getting there that has me intrigued. We've talked a lot about the 200-week moving average over on the XRP versus a Bitcoin price chart and trying to see if we will get back to that. And as you can see, we are getting awfully close back to the 200-week moving average. Now, the question is, do we touch it? Does it hold as support? And how has the historical behavior of this actually been? And as you can see, it has not been literally perfect. It has gotten really close to it. You could argue it definitely was the resistance holding it down, but you can see it didn't even quite touch it. Whereas here, weekly wick goes through, but we now have pulled all the way back down there. We've been talking about this for weeks as well. So I'm intrigued to see us get so close. And let me do this. I'll switch this to a lower time frame and have it included on here. And we can see that we are a mere 2.5% away. Resistance, resistance. One candle gets through, which lasted for less than 2 hours in here. As you can see on the 15-minute time frame, very brief. What was so significant about that day? June 13th. That was the release of the Hinman emails right there on June 13th. So an anomaly of an event, maybe. Is that why it got through the 200 week? But as we know, we've gotten a clean break above it this time. We've been above for almost a month now. And we're now only 2.6% above the top side of the 200 week moving average. So it's certainly an interesting price level for me here in regards to the XRP versus Bitcoin price chart and the XRP USD price chart. So I'll put out a video either later this afternoon or tomorrow morning completely pertaining to XRP on bigger time frames, Elliott waves, and referencing back to things we've talked about for the last couple of months. But definitely nothing out of the ordinary happening here. You've got the XRP Bitcoin price chart going back to the 200-week moving average, which we've talked about for about a month. Now we're back at the upper bounds of that previous resistance, now lower bounds as a support. Now it's time to see some base building start to happen in here. But again, everything goes back to looking at Bitcoin, seeing liquidity flood into this market. We can see that the volumes have started to really dry up over here on Bitcoin. I talk about this on my website on bcbacker.com. There's a whole 27-minute video dedicated to volume analysis and volume profiles. That typically when we see volume dry up, it's usually the precursor to a bigger move coming to where volume does flood in. And I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing it by now. Magical unicorn, fairy dust, puppet masters pulling the puppet strings, God or a simulation. But that somehow, some way, Bitcoin pulls back down to this level to backtest this region, which we've been talking about. XRP USD pulls back down to the breakout region, and XRP versus Bitcoin pulls back to the 200-week moving average. That all three of these events all happen at the same time. And if some type of narrative arrives or some type of event happens, liquidity pour in, all these things happen, and then we whoosh right off of here. Again, it leads you to that scratching of your head, wearing your tinfoil hat, wondering how do all those things happen simultaneously that you can get back to the 200-week moving average, you can get back to the breakout level for a back test, and get back to the breakout level for a back test. And the market all waited for all those events to happen at the same time. And then finally, once they did, woof, off and away it goes. So we're off to a decent start to start the morning for Bitcoin, sitting at almost 29,500. The level that would get me excited on Bitcoin is a break above $30,000. That would lead me to think all of this is over, as we would have then broken above and that we're done down here. And should we get that, probably start seeing a lot more excitement over there in the altcoin market. As for XRP, which I'll put a video out either this afternoon or first thing tomorrow morning. Pretty much the standard correction, which I always call the BCB crashing structure. I like the structural setup that it has happening in here. To me, it's forming a base down in here. We'll dive into it a little deeper, a little bit more macro to see if we can wave count this ending in here and whether or not we have completed 5 or if we have actually completed 7. But either way, the structural behavior happening in here for XRP, very good. Just a base building action happening in here right now. I like to see it, especially happening right here as we're getting back to that 200-week moving average on XRP versus Bitcoin. So not huge changes throughout the cryptocurrency market besides XRP pulling back to these levels we've been discussing as potential supports. But sometimes even boring price action is okay price action, as it means that the momentum to the downside has waned and hopefully strength can resume again. But definitely glad to see that while I was on vacation, the market was really just boring. And hey, I'm returning and look at that. We're moving to the upside. I'll take it. Otherwise, that's a quick little check-in of what the market has done for the last 5 or 6 days now that I've been gone. Most of the market remained relatively boring. You saw a couple of pumps happen randomly throughout the market and XRP pulling back down to the support. Now we're looking for base building to happen over there on XRP. And I'm excited to see how that forms. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in Markets in the Morning. I'll catch you in the next video. And I want to thank you so much for watching. If you're looking for some additional content from me, you can check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. This is a course I created to help you understand the price action and why the market moves the way that it does, condensing my years of experience and lessons learned into easy to understand content, helping you to eliminate the noise and understand what moves the market and help understand cyclical behavior of Bitcoin and the altcoin market. And of course, how to remain calm during periods of excitement or periods of fear and volatility. Like mentioned in this video, there's content in there about volume analysis. And then when I get that XRP video out, we're going to be talking a lot about Elliott wave theory and Elliott wave triangles, zigzags, and flats. So if you want to brush up on your Elliott wave theory, before we dive into that, you can check out that whole section with about an hour's worth of content in there. The entire course is 41 videos with 11 hours of content to help you build a rock solid foundation and to skip a lot of the expensive lessons that are taught in crypto for just $39. There's no subscription. There's no hidden fees. Check it out. bcbacker.com. There's a link in the description of this video. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in Markets in the Morning and in the next video. But all right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.